Sarah Chen walked into the biggest room she had ever seen. The walls were made of crystal that sparkled like stars. 12 different types of aliens sat around a huge table that floated in the air. Each alien looked completely different from the others. Some had tentacles. Others had wings. One looked like it was made of pure light. Sarah was the first human to ever stand in this room. Earth had just learned how to travel faster than light speed 3 months ago. Now she was here on Nexus Prime, the capital planet of the Galactic Council. Her job was simple but important. She needed to ask these aliens to let humans join their group. The alien made of light spoke first. Its voice sounded like music mixed with wind. "We are Valdris, speaker for this council. You are the human representative?" "Yes," Sarah said. She tried to keep her voice steady. "I am Ambassador Sarah Chen from Earth. We come seeking membership in your council." A blue alien with 4 arms laughed. The sound was like water bubbling. "Another young species thinks they are ready for the galaxy." How amusing. Sarah had studied these aliens for weeks. The blue one was from the Deep Sworn. They lived in oceans and thought land creatures were stupid. The one with insect eyes was a Zephyrian. They had conquered 12 star systems. The floating rocks were builders. They made planets for fun. "Tell us about your world, human," said a creature that looked like a walking tree. "What makes you think you belong here with civilizations that are millions of years old?" Sarah took a deep breath. She had practiced this speech many times. Earth is a small planet with 8 billion humans. We have had space travel for about 70 years. We have been to our moon and Mars. We make computers and medicine and art. Several aliens made sounds that seemed like laughter. The insect-like Zephyrian clicked its mandibles. Space travel for 70 years? We have been traveling between stars since before your species learned to make fire. Your technology must be very basic, said another alien that looked like a metal snake. What could you possibly offer us? This was the moment Sarah had been dreading. Earth's leaders had given her clear instructions. She had to warn them about Earth's defenses. But she also knew how it would sound. "We offer friendship and peace," Sarah said. "But I must give you an important warning. Earth has very strong defenses. We strongly advise against any aggressive action toward our world." The room went completely quiet for 3 seconds. Then the laughter started. The Zephyrian laughed so hard its whole body shook. The blue Deep Sworn made bubbling sounds. Even the serious-looking tree creature seemed to smile. The metal snake alien made a sound like steam escaping. "Defenses?" Valdris asked. The light being actually seemed brighter, like it was glowing with amusement. "Young human, we have weapons that can destroy entire stars. We have ships the size of your continents. What could your small world possibly have that would concern us?" Sarah felt her face get hot. She had known this would happen. "I understand how it sounds. But I had to tell you. Earth's defensive capabilities are extensive. We are not helpless." Of course," said the 4-armed Deep Sworn. "All young species say this. You probably have nuclear weapons, yes? Maybe some satellites with lasers? Very impressive for a species so new to space." The other aliens nodded and made more laughing sounds. Sarah could see they were not taking her seriously at all. She tried again. "Our defenses are more than you think. We have prepared for many different threats. I cannot give details, but please understand. Any attack on Earth would be a terrible mistake." This made them laugh even harder. The Zephyrian wiped moisture from its compound eyes. "Listen to this brave little human. She thinks her world can fight the galaxy." "How many ships does Earth have?" asked the tree creature. 10, 20? "We have fleets of 10,000 ships each." "It is not about the number of ships," Sarah said. She was getting frustrated but tried to stay calm. "Earth has other ways to defend itself." "Other ways?" The metal snake alien made that steam sound again. "What other ways? Do you throw rocks at attacking fleets?" Sarah bit her tongue. She wanted to tell them exactly what Earth had hidden in the asteroid belt. She wanted to explain about the lunar installations. She wanted to describe the Mars defense grid. But her orders were clear. "Just warn them. Do not give details." "I have delivered the warning I was asked to give," Sarah said. "Earth wants peace. We want to join your council and share knowledge. But we also want you to know that attacking us would not go well for anyone." Valdris floated closer to Sarah. The light being seemed to study her carefully. "Young human, we appreciate your enthusiasm. It is natural for new species to feel defensive. But you must understand, some of us have been traveling space since before your star was born. We have seen species rise and fall. We know what real power looks like. And you think Earth does not have real power? Sarah asked. We think Earth has the power appropriate for a species 70 years into space travel, said the Deepsworn. Chemical rockets, primitive computers, maybe some orbital weapons platforms. Nothing that would concern civilizations like ours. The builder, which was just floating rocks arranged in a roughly human shape, spoke for the first time. Its voice sounded like grinding stone. We have watched your species through telescopes for centuries. We know what you have built. It is impressive for children, but we are adults. Sarah felt anger rising in her chest. These aliens had been watching Earth for centuries. Why had they never made contact? And if they had been watching, how could they not know about the real defenses? If you have been watching for centuries, then you know humans are good at solving problems, Sarah said. We are good at preparing for threats. We are very good at building things that protect us. Yes, Valdris said in a patronizing tone. You built walls around your cities. You made better spears. You learned to fly in metal machines. Very impressive progress for such a short time. Sarah realized they had no idea. They had been watching Earth, but they had only seen what Earth wanted them to see. All the real preparations had been hidden. All the actual defenses were invisible to their telescopes. The aliens thought they knew everything about human capabilities, but they knew almost nothing. I see you do not believe me, Sarah said. That is your choice. But I have done my duty. I have given you the warning. What you do with it is up to you. We will note your warning in our records, Valdris said. The light being's tone suggested this was just a formality. Earth's extensive defenses will be duly recorded. More laughter filled the room. Sarah realized that every single alien in the council thought this was a joke. They saw her as a child claiming her toy soldiers could fight real armies. They had no idea what humans were actually capable of. Are there any other matters to discuss before we vote on Earth's membership? Valdris asked the other council members. Just one question, said the Zephyrian. If Earth's defenses are so impressive, why do you want to join us? Surely you could conquer the galaxy by yourselves. This brought another wave of laughter. Sarah smiled, but not because she thought it was funny. She smiled because these aliens had no idea how close to the truth that question actually was. We prefer friendship to conquest, Sarah said, but we are prepared for either. War Commander Thektal stood on the bridge of his flagship and stared at the star charts. 3 weeks had passed since the human ambassador had given her warning to the council. 3 weeks of the other council members making jokes about Earth's extensive defenses. But Thektal was not laughing. He was from the Dominion Hegemony, a military society that had conquered 47 star systems. His people understood war better than any other species in the galaxy. And in his experience, when someone warned you about their weapons, you should listen. Sir, said his second-in-command, Sub-Commander Creon, the Council has approved our reconnaissance mission. We are authorized to investigate the human homeworld. Thektal nodded. He had requested permission to take a small fleet to Earth. Not to attack, just to observe. The Council had agreed, mostly because they thought it would be amusing to see what the humans were so proud of. How many ships? Thektal asked. 30 vessels, sir. 20 frigates, 8 destroyers, and 2 battlecruisers, all equipped with advanced stealth systems and long-range sensors. It was overkill for a reconnaissance mission, but Thektal had not survived 40 years of military service by taking chances. If the humans really did have something dangerous, he wanted to be ready. Set course for the Sol system, Thektal ordered. Maximum stealth. I want to see what these humans are hiding. The journey took 5 days. As they approached the outer edge of the human solar system, Thektal ordered all ships to stop and begin scanning. What they found made no sense. Sir, said the sensor operator, a young hegemony officer with 3 eyes, I am reading massive energy signatures throughout this system. Explain, Thektal said. There are artificial structures on almost every large asteroid in the belt between the 4th and 5th planets. Thousands of them, and the energy readings are significant. Thektal looked at the sensor displays. The asteroid belt was lit up like a festival. Every major rock showed signs of construction and power generation. But that was impossible. Building in asteroid belts was extremely difficult and expensive. Most civilizations only put mining stations there. What about the inner planets? Thektal asked. The sensor operator's 3 eyes widened. Sir, the 3rd planet's moon shows massive artificial structures across its entire surface. And the 4th planet, Mars, they call it. The energy signature is enormous. Show me detailed scans. The main display showed Earth's moon, but it did not look like any moon Thektal had ever seen. The surface was covered with geometric shapes and metal structures. Long rails ran across the lunar surface like scars. Huge domes dotted the landscape. "Are those weapon emplacements?" Sub-Commander Krian asked. "They appear to be railgun installations," the sensor operator said. "But sir, the size is unprecedented. These weapons are kilometers long." Thektal felt a cold sensation in his stomach. Railguns that size could throw projectiles at incredible speeds. They could punch through the shields of capital ships. What about Mars? The display switched to the fourth planet. Mars was covered in a network of installations that stretched across continents. Massive atmospheric processors pumped gases into the thin air, but the energy signatures suggested they were not just terraforming equipment. "Sir," the sensor operator said quietly, "these atmospheric processors could be modified into weapons very easily. If they can pump gases into an atmosphere, they could also pump toxic materials or biological weapons." Thektal studied the readings for several minutes. This was not what the Council expected to find. The humans had not just built orbital weapons platforms. They had turned their entire solar system into a fortress. "How long would it take to build installations like this?" Thektal asked. "With our technology? Centuries, sir. Maybe longer." "And the humans have only had space travel for 70 years? According to their own statements, yes, sir." Something was very wrong. Either the humans had been lying about their level of technology, or they had built these defenses much faster than should be possible. Thektal ordered the fleet to move closer and scan the inner system. What they found near Earth itself was even more surprising. Thousands of satellites orbited the planet, but these were not simple communication devices. They were armed platforms disguised as civilian equipment. "Sir," the sensor operator said, "I am detecting weapons systems on 90% of the orbital satellites. These are not telecommunications equipment. They are weapons platforms. Hidden weapons?" "Very well hidden, sir. On the surface, they appear to be normal satellites, but detailed scans show missile bays, energy weapons, and targeting systems." Thektal realized what had happened. The humans had been building defenses while pretending to build civilian infrastructure. Every space mission had two purposes. Every satellite launch was secretly military. They had been preparing for war while the galaxy thought they were just learning to use computers. "Pull back to the outer system," Thektal ordered. "I need to study this data." The fleet retreated beyond the orbit of Pluto. Thektal spent hours reviewing the sensor logs. The more he studied them, the more impressed and worried he became. The humans had not just built random weapons. They had created an integrated defense system that covered their entire solar system. The asteroid belt formed the first line of defense. Mars was a fortress world that could manufacture more weapons. The Moon was a massive gun platform that could hit targets anywhere in the inner system, and Earth itself was surrounded by hidden weapons that could destroy approaching fleets. "Sir," Sub-Commander Krian said, "how did they build all this without the Council noticing?" "Because the Council was not really watching," Thektal said. "They were observing Earth through telescopes from hundreds of light years away. They saw cities and roads and primitive aircraft. They did not see the weapons hidden inside civilian structures. But why would humans build defenses like this? They did not know about the galaxy until recently. That was the most disturbing question of all. Why would a species build interplanetary weapons before making contact with other civilizations? What had made them so paranoid? What had convinced them that threats would come from space? Thektal studied the human communication frequencies. His ship's computers could translate most human languages now. What he heard made him even more worried. Human military officers were discussing Project Looking Glass and solar defense, command and contingency plans for first contact scenarios. They talked about alien threats, like they had been expecting them for decades. "Sir," the communications officer said, "I am picking up a transmission from Earth's moon. It appears to be a military briefing. Put it on screen." A human woman in a military uniform appeared on the display. She was speaking to other humans about defense readiness levels and weapon system status checks. But what caught Thektal's attention was her casual mention of extraterrestrial signal monitoring and assumed hostile contact protocols. The humans had been listening to galactic communications. They had known about other civilizations for much longer than they had admitted, and they had spent decades preparing for the day when those civilizations would find them. "These humans have been planning for war with us since before we knew they existed," Sub-Commander Krian whispered. Thektal nodded grimly. The human ambassador's warning suddenly made perfect sense. Earth did have extensive defenses. They had been building them for generations, and they had been specifically designed to fight enemies from space. Send a message to the Council, Thektal ordered. Tell them we need to discuss the human situation immediately. As his fleet prepared to leave the Sol system, Thektal took one last look at the sensor displays. The humans had turned their solar system into the most heavily defended location he had ever seen. And they had done it while pretending to be peaceful explorers who just wanted to join the galactic community. For the first time in his military career, Thektal was genuinely afraid of a species he had never fought. Dr. Elena Vasquez sat in her office deep under the Cheyenne Mountain complex. The room had no windows. 3 large screens showed different views of space around Earth. Red lights blinked on control panels. This was the heart of Solar Defense Command, and Elena had been its director for 8 years. Most humans did not know this place existed. Most humans thought their government spent money on roads and schools and hospitals. They did not know that every major nation on Earth contributed to the secret defense budget. They did not know that humanity had been preparing for alien contact since 1967. War Commander Thektal's ships were watching from the edge of the solar system. Elena's teams had detected them the moment they arrived. Now the aliens were scanning everything, learning secrets that humanity had kept for 60 years. "Director," said Captain Harrison, Elena's chief of staff, "the alien fleet is maintaining position at 40 astronomical units. Their scans are very detailed." "Let them look," Elena said. "It is too late to hide anything now." "How long until the president's briefing?" 10 minutes, ma'am." Elena walked to the main conference room. President Martinez was waiting on the secure video link from Washington. Several other government officials joined the call from hidden bunkers around the world. This was the most classified briefing in human history. "Madam President," Elena began, "the alien reconnaissance fleet has been scanning our defenses for 6 hours. They now know about Project Looking Glass and most of our defensive capabilities." "How much do they know?" President Martinez asked. "Everything we built in space, ma'am. The lunar installations, the Mars defense grid, the asteroid belt weapons platforms. They cannot see our underground facilities or our true manufacturing capacity, but they know we are not the primitive species we pretended to be." Elena pressed a button and the conference room's main screen showed a timeline. It started in 1967 with a small radio telescope and ended in 2157 with humanity's first faster-than-light ship. "For those joining this briefing for the first time," Elena said, "here is what really happened. In 1967, the Arecibo radio telescope detected structured signals from space. Not random noise. Organized communication between multiple star systems." She clicked to the next slide. It showed intercepted alien communications from the 1970s. By 1974, our computers could partially translate these signals. We learned that Earth was being observed by at least 12 different alien civilizations. We learned that most of these civilizations were military powers with thousands of warships each. President Martinez leaned forward. "And that is when we started Project Looking Glass?" "Yes, ma'am. The project had 3 goals. First, continue monitoring alien communications to learn about potential threats. Second, develop defensive technologies that could protect Earth from alien attack. Third, keep everything completely secret from both the aliens and the general human population." Elena showed the next slide. It was a photo of the first hidden weapons platform built inside a communications satellite in 1981. "We realized that if aliens had been watching Earth for centuries, they would expect us to develop certain technologies in a certain order, so we gave them what they expected to see. We built visible space stations and sent obvious exploration missions to Mars. But inside every civilian project, we hid military technology." The British Prime Minister spoke from his bunker. "How did we develop such advanced weapons so quickly?" "Because we had decades of alien communication intercepts to study," Elena said. "We learned about railgun technology from hegemony military transmissions in Dynasty 1983. We figured out energy shield principles from builder construction chatter in 1991. The aliens taught us how to defend against them without realizing it." She showed photos of the lunar construction projects, massive machines digging tunnels and installing weapons that could destroy spacecraft. "The moon became our first major fortress in 1998. We told the world we were mining for rare elements, Actually, we were building the largest weapon platform in the solar system. Every lunar mining operation was really a gun emplacement or missile silo. What about Mars? Asked the German chancellor. Mars was even more ambitious. We sent robots to build atmospheric processors, supposedly to make the planet habitable for human colonists. Really, we were building a planetary defense grid that could generate toxic atmospheres, electromagnetic pulses, or biological weapons depending on what type of aliens attacked us. Elena clicked to show the asteroid belt installations, thousands of small structures floating in space. The asteroid belt is our main line of defense. We have weapons platforms hidden inside 3,000 different asteroids. Each one looks like a simple mining station from the outside, but they are actually automated warships that can move and fight independently. President Martinez looked shocked, even though she had been briefed on parts of this before. How many people know the truth? About 12,000 worldwide, Elena said. Engineers, scientists, military officers, and government officials. Everyone else believes the cover stories about peaceful space exploration and scientific research. And the aliens never suspected? Why would they? From their perspective, they were watching a primitive species slowly learn to build rockets and satellites. They saw exactly what we wanted them to see. They had no reason to look closer. Elena showed the final slide. It was a chart comparing human defensive capabilities to known alien military strengths. Based on our analysis of 60 years of intercepted communications, Earth's current defenses could successfully fight off most alien invasion forces. We might not win against all 12 civilizations attacking together, but we could make any attack extremely costly. The French president joined the conversation. So when Ambassador Chen warned the Galactic Council she was not bluffing? No, sir. She was telling the truth. Earth has extensive defenses. The aliens laughed because they thought she was talking about a few orbital weapons platforms. They had no idea we have been building interplanetary fortifications for 6 decades. Captain Harrison approached Elena with a tablet. Director, we are receiving more detailed scans from the alien fleet. They are focusing on our power generation systems. Elena looked at the data. The aliens were starting to understand how much energy Earth's hidden weapons required. They were probably realizing that humans had been massively underreporting their technological capabilities. Madam President, Elena said, the aliens are going to figure out that we have been lying about our development timeline. They are going to ask how we built defenses this advanced so quickly. What do we tell them? We tell them the truth. Humans are very good at preparing for threats. We heard them talking in space 50 years before they contacted us. So we got ready. President Martinez was quiet for a moment. Will this make them more or less likely to accept us into their council? That depends on how they react to learning that we have been spying on their communications for 60 years and building weapons, specifically designed to kill them. Elena looked at the screens showing Thektal's fleet. The alien ships were moving closer to Earth now, probably trying to get more detailed scans of the inner system defenses. There is something else, Madam President. Our deep space monitoring stations are detecting increased military activity in several alien home systems. Word about our defenses is spreading. Some of the alien governments are mobilizing their fleets. For attack or defense? Unknown. But 12 different civilizations are suddenly very interested in Earth. The galaxy is about to learn that humans are not the helpless newcomers everyone thought we were. Elena realized that Ambassador Chen's warning had started something that could not be stopped. For 60 years, humanity had prepared for this moment. Now they would find out if their preparations were enough. Director, Captain Harrison said, long-range sensors are detecting a new contact approaching the Sol system. Another alien scout ship? No, ma'am. It is much larger. Possibly a battle cruiser or dreadnought. Elena felt her stomach drop. The reconnaissance phase was ending. Someone had decided to test Earth's defenses directly. Alert all defense stations, Elena ordered. Implement Protocol 7. If that ship enters the inner system with weapons powered, we treat it as hostile. She turned back to the president. Ma'am, I recommend we prepare for the possibility that our first real contact with alien military forces will not be peaceful. The screens around the room began flashing yellow warning lights. Deep in space, automated systems that had waited 60 years for this moment began coming online. Earth's true face was about to be revealed to the galaxy. War Commander Thektal stared at the message from the Galactic Council. The text was clear. Observe only. Do not engage. Return with full sensor data for Council review. But Thektal had spent 5 days studying the human solar system, and the data made no sense. No species could build defenses this advanced in 70 years. Either the humans were lying about their technology level, or they had developed faster than any civilization in galactic history. "Sir," Subcommander Krian said, "the Council's orders are very specific. We are not authorized to test the human defenses." "I know what the orders say," Thektal replied. He looked at the tactical display showing Earth's defensive positions. "But how can we report accurately if we do not know what those weapons can actually do?" The truth was that Thektal's military instincts were screaming warnings at him. In 40 years of warfare, he had learned to recognize when an enemy was more dangerous than they appeared. Every sensor reading from Earth suggested the humans were exactly that kind of enemy. "Sir, if we probe their defenses and they respond aggressively, it could start a war. If we do not probe their defenses and they are as dangerous as they appear, we could lose a war we do not even know we are fighting." Thektal made his decision. He ordered 29 of his 30 ships to maintain position at the edge of the solar system. Then he took his personal frigate, the Piercing Talon, on what he called a detailed reconnaissance mission toward the inner planets. The Piercing Talon was small but very advanced. Its stealth systems could hide it from most sensors. Its shields could protect it from moderate weapons fire, and its speed could get it away from trouble quickly. "Set course for the human moon," Thektal ordered. "We will conduct a close-range scan of their installations." As the frigate moved deeper into the solar system, Thektal watched the sensor displays carefully. The asteroid belt was full of hidden weapons, but they were not tracking his ship. The Mars defenses showed no signs of activation. Even Earth's orbital platform seemed to be operating in normal mode. "Maybe the humans do not have detection systems as advanced as their weapons," Krian suggested. Thektal was not convinced. His experience told him that any species smart enough to build hidden weapons would also be smart enough to build hidden sensors. The humans probably knew exactly where his ship was. The Piercing Talon approached Earth's moon. Thektal could see the massive railgun installations clearly now. Each weapon was kilometers long and obviously designed to throw projectiles at incredible speeds. But they were all pointed away from his ship, aimed at deep space approach routes. "Take us to 100 kilometers above the lunar surface," Thektal ordered. "I want detailed scans of their weapon systems." That was when everything changed. The lunar surface erupted, not with explosions but with movement. Hundreds of weapon turrets that had been hidden under fake mining equipment suddenly swiveled toward the Piercing Talon. Target acquisition radars locked onto the frigate from dozens of different positions. "Sir," the sensor operator shouted, "we are being painted by targeting systems across the entire lunar surface." Thektal felt his blood chill. The humans had been tracking his ship the entire time. They had let him approach close enough to see their weapons clearly before revealing that every gun on the moon was aimed at him. "Evasive maneuvers," Thektal ordered. "Get us away from the moon." But before the Piercing Talon could change course, the first railgun fired. The projectile was a metal rod the size of a small spacecraft. It left the lunar surface at 20% of light speed. The frigate's shields, designed to stop energy weapons and missile warheads, were completely useless against a solid object moving that fast. The rod passed through the shields like they were not there. It punched a hole through the frigate's armor plating and out the other side, missing the engine room by 50 meters. "Shields are down," Krian reported. "Hull breach on decks 4 and 5. More railguns fired. The projectiles came from different angles, making evasive maneuvers almost impossible. Each shot was precisely aimed to disable rather than destroy. The humans were not trying to kill Thektal's crew. They were demonstrating their accuracy. "Get us out of here," Thektal shouted. The Piercing Talon's engines fired at maximum power, accelerating away from the moon. But the railgun bombardment followed them. Every time Thektal thought they were safe, another projectile streaked past their hull. "Sir, we are clear of the lunar weapon range," the pilot reported. Thektal allowed himself to breathe for exactly 3 seconds. Then the sensor operator screamed, "Contact! Multiple fast movers approaching from the asteroid belt." The display showed 12 small craft accelerating toward the frigate at impossible speeds. They were not regular spacecraft. They moved too quickly and changed direction too sharply for any piloted vehicle. "Automated defense drones," Krian said. "But those acceleration patterns would kill any living crew." The drones reached the Piercing Talon in minutes. They did not fire weapons. Instead, they surrounded the frigate and began scanning it with powerful sensors. Tektal realized the humans were collecting detailed information about hegemony technology. "They are recording everything," he said. "Our shield frequencies, our armor composition, our engine signatures. They will know how to fight our ships." One of the drones moved very close to the frigate's hull. Through the viewports, Tektal could see its design clearly. It was obviously built for war. No wasted space, no decorative elements, just weapons and engines and sensors. These were not exploration craft. They were killing machines. The drones escorted the piercing Talon toward the edge of the solar system. They did not threaten or attack. They just made it very clear that the frigate was leaving whether Tektal wanted to or not. As they approached the heliopause, the boundary of the solar system, the drones suddenly stopped. They arranged themselves in a perfect defensive line and waited. The message was obvious. This far and no further. "Sir," the communications officer said, "I am receiving a transmission from Earth." "Put it through." A human face appeared on the screen. It was a woman in military uniform with cold eyes and a serious expression. "This is Director Vasquez of Solar Defense Command," she said. "War Commander Tektal, you have violated Earth's defensive perimeter. Your ship has been scanned and cataloged. Your weapon systems have been analyzed. Your tactical capabilities have been recorded." Tektal was shocked that she knew his name and rank. The humans had been listening to his ship's internal communications. "You came here to test our defenses," Director Vasquez continued. "Consider them tested. Earth is protected by weapon systems you have never encountered before. We have been preparing for visitors like you for longer than you know." The transmission ended. Tektal stared at the blank screen for several minutes. "Sir," Krian said quietly, "what do we tell the Council?" Tektal looked at the damage reports from their brief encounter. The piercing Talon would need major repairs. Its armor had been punctured by projectiles moving faster than most spacecraft. Its systems had been analyzed by machines designed specifically for war, and this had been a gentle warning. The humans could have destroyed his ship easily. Instead, they had demonstrated their capabilities and sent him home with a message. "We tell the Council the truth," Tektal said. "The humans have been lying about their technology level. Their defenses are more advanced than anything we have encountered, and they have been specifically designed to fight aliens like us." He looked back at the line of drones guarding the solar system boundary. They had not moved or powered down their weapons. They were still waiting, ready to destroy any ship that tried to enter without permission. "We also tell the Council that any attack on Earth would be a disaster," Tektal added. "These humans are not afraid of us. They are ready for us." As the piercing Talon limped back toward hegemony space, Tektal realized that Ambassador Chen's warning had been completely accurate. Earth did have extensive defenses. The galaxy had no idea what it was dealing with. The emergency session of the Galactic Council was unlike anything in its 2-million-year history. All 12 member species had representatives present, either in person or through quantum communication links. The crystal chamber on Nexus Prime hummed with tension and barely controlled fear. Council Speaker Valdris no longer glowed with amused light. The energy being's form flickered with what could only be described as anxiety. War Commander Tektal stood in the center of the chamber, his uniform still showing scorch marks from his encounter with Earth's defenses. "Repeat your report," Valdris commanded. Tektal activated a holographic display. It showed the damage to his frigate in precise detail. Holes punched completely through advanced armor plating. Systems fried by electromagnetic pulses. Hull scarring from projectiles moving at 20% of light speed. "The human lunar installations fired upon my ship with kinetic weapons of unprecedented power," Tektal said. "Railguns larger than any in our databases, firing projectiles faster than our shields can deflect." The Zephyrian representative, General Zakth, studied the damage patterns with her compound eyes. "These appear to be solid projectile weapons. Very primitive concept." "The concept is primitive," Tektal agreed. "The execution is not. These weapons can penetrate our best defensive systems, and they fired with perfect accuracy across hundreds of thousands of kilometers." Keeper Silence of Depths, the aquatic representative, rippled with distress. Their translation matrices were having trouble processing the implications of Tektal's report. "How many such weapons did you observe?" Silence of Depths asked. "Hundreds on the lunar surface alone. Thousands more throughout the asteroid belt. The humans have turned their entire solar system into a weapons platform. The builder representative, a collection of floating stones called Architect Prime, spoke in grinding tones. We have observed human construction for centuries. We saw mining operations, communication satellites, atmospheric processors. We saw no weapons, because they hid them inside civilian structures, Thektal said. He showed sensor readings from his reconnaissance mission. Every communication satellite contains hidden weapons. Every mining station is actually a weapons platform. Every atmospheric processor can be converted into a biological or chemical weapon delivery system. The room fell silent. The implications were staggering. Not only had humans been building advanced weapons, they had been deliberately deceiving the galactic community about their capabilities. There is more, Thektal continued. The humans have been monitoring our communications for decades. They know our fleet compositions, our weapon capabilities, our tactical doctrines. They have been studying us and preparing defenses specifically designed to counter our military strengths. Valdris pulsed with a deep red light. Are you saying they have been spying on the Council? I am saying they intercepted our open communications and learned from them. Their weapons are not random developments. They are specifically engineered to fight hegemony ships, Zephyrian swarms, builder constructs, and all our other military assets. Ambassador Chen had been standing quietly in a side chamber, watching the proceedings through a one-way viewer. Now Valdris summoned her to the main floor. Human, Valdris said. War Commander Thektal claims your species has been deceiving us about your technological capabilities. Sarah walked to the center of the chamber with calm confidence. She looked completely different from the nervous diplomat who had stood here weeks earlier. Now she carried herself like someone who knew she held all the advantages. We told you the truth, Sarah said. Earth has extensive defenses. You chose not to believe us. You claimed to be a young species with only 70 years of space travel. General Zakth accused. We are a young species with 70 years of space travel, Sarah replied. We are also a species that has been aware of your existence for much longer. We use that time to prepare. Silence of Depth spoke through their translation device. You built weapons while pretending to build civilian infrastructure. This suggests deception and hostile intent. It suggests caution and defensive planning, Sarah corrected. We detected your communications 50 years before you contacted us. We learned that the galaxy contains multiple military powers with thousands of warships each. Did you expect us to remain defenseless? The builder representative ground out a question. How did primitive humans develop such advanced technology so quickly? Sarah smiled. It was not a pleasant expression. We listened to your military communications for decades. Every tactical discussion, every weapons test, every fleet movement exercise. You taught us how to build defenses against you without realizing it. The chamber erupted in angry sounds from multiple species. The council members were realizing that their own communications had been used against them. Furthermore, Sarah continued, our development was not as quick as you think. We have been building these defenses for 60 years. We simply hid them very well. Valdris tried to regain control of the session. The question now is what to do about this situation. What situation? Sarah asked. The situation where humans want to join your council and contribute to galactic peace? Or the situation where you tested our defenses without permission and discovered we can defend ourselves? Thektal spoke up. The situation where your species has capabilities far beyond what any young civilization should possess. Define should, Sarah said. Are there rules about how quickly species are allowed to develop? Are there limits on defensive preparations? The truth was that there were no such rules. The Council had always assumed that young species would be too primitive to threaten established civilizations. No one had considered what might happen if a young species was smarter and more paranoid than expected. Your defenses are specifically designed to fight us, General Zakth said. This suggests you see us as enemies. Our defenses are designed to fight anyone who might attack Earth, Sarah replied. If you are not planning to attack Earth, then our weapons are not a threat to you. Architect Prime asked the question that everyone was thinking. What do you want from the Council? The same thing we wanted when I first came here, Sarah said. Membership, trade agreements, cultural exchange, and mutual defense pacts. Nothing has changed except your knowledge of our capabilities. Everything has changed, Valdris said. You are not the helpless species we thought you were. No, Sarah agreed. We are not helpless. We are also not hostile unless you make us hostile. The choice is yours. Silence of depths rippled nervously. You speak as if you are in a position to make demands. I speak as if Earth is in a position to defend itself and contribute to galactic civilization, Sarah said. Whether you see that as a threat or an opportunity depends on your intentions toward humanity. The council members looked at each other with various expressions of concern, fear, and calculation. War Commander Thechtel's report had made one thing clear. Attacking Earth would be costly beyond anything they had imagined. The humans had turned their solar system into a fortress specifically designed to destroy galactic military forces. There is another consideration, Sarah added. Other species in the galaxy are watching how you handle first contact with Earth. If you treat us fairly, they will see the Council as reasonable. If you treat us as threats simply because we can defend ourselves, they may decide they need defenses too. This was the nightmare scenario for established galactic powers. If every new species started building weapons like Earth's, the balance of power would shift dramatically. Valdris consulted privately with the other council members for several minutes. When they reached a decision, the energy being's light had returned to a calmer blue glow. The council has voted, Valdris announced. Earth will be granted immediate full membership with all associated rights and protections. Sarah nodded. Thank you. Earth accepts membership and looks forward to peaceful cooperation with all council species. However, Valdris continued, we expect full disclosure about your defensive capabilities and military technologies. Of course, Sarah said. We will share all information that does not compromise Earth's security. Just as I am sure all council members will share their military secrets with us. The chamber fell silent again. No council member was prepared to share their military secrets with anyone, especially not with humans who had already proven they could use such information very effectively. We also expect Earth to use its capabilities responsibly, General Zakth said. Earth will defend itself and its allies, Sarah replied. We will not start wars, but we will finish them. As the session ended, Ambassador Chen walked toward the exit with quiet satisfaction. Behind her, the council members began urgent discussions about how to deal with a galaxy that now contained a species that had turned defensive paranoia into an art form. War Commander. Thechtel watched her leave and realized that the balance of galactic power had just shifted permanently. The humans had not conquered anyone or demanded territory. They had simply revealed that they were too dangerous to ignore and too valuable to alienate. For the first time in galactic history, a young species had joined the Council, not as a junior member seeking protection, but as an equal power demanding respect. The galaxy would never be the same.